Wonderful. So thank you everyone for joining me today. My name is Michael Smith, the National Consumer Education Manager of Janome Canada. And yes, I'm back at my palatial estate in Collingwood for another segment of Ask Janome HQ. So this is where you can ask us questions, and then I'll try to answer them on air if I can, live. But if not, then I'll save it up and have it for another presentation, later. So you can go on all of our Janome Canada social media and Janome HQ social media to ask those questions. Oh, Luciano, perfect timing, because this presentation is all for Luciano and of course everyone else. But again, at a previous presentation, I can't remember if it was Ask Janome HQ or maybe Magical Machine Mystery Tour, Luciano asked the question about cloth guides. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Now, if anyone was with me live last week from the Janome Sewing and Learning Center, we had a wonderful presentation all about the even feed feet, the AccuFeed Flex feet that are available for the various machines, and I demoed many of those options. And I went to go save that presentation and share it to Instagram, and I don't know what happened, but that presentation disappeared. So, never fear. A few people did message me and say, oh my gosh, where's that presentation? I'm going down to the Sewing and Learning Center next week. So I'm going to be doing that whole presentation all about the AccuFeed Flex feet and the even feed feet for the various machines. I'm going to be doing it all next week for Magical Machine Mystery Tour. I'm going to try again. Hopefully this presentation saves to Instagram and will be posted. So let's get started, because as always, time is my enemy. So let's flip around here. Yay! So what is our topic of today for Ask Janome HQ? Ta-da! We have many machines here on my table. In fact, wow, I need a bigger table, because yes, I have many machines here. And we're going to talk about cloth guides, because again, Luciano was tuning in as a faithful, loyal viewer, tuning in a few weeks ago and said, oh, what are the cloth guide options and how will we use them and so forth. So we're going to go over that. Because too, I get a lot of questions. Here's my fabulous Janome Continental M7, and I get a lot of questions. Is there a cloth guide for this machine? Can I use a magnetic seam guide in particular with the Continental M7? Because we do have this little warning here. There's a strong magnet down in the machine here that holds this needle plate on, in fact. So many people are concerned about using a magnetic seam guide with the magnet that's down in here. Is that going to harm anything? And, years ago, like, 35, 40 years ago, when the first computerized sewing machines were coming out, the concern was using magnets around them. Well, now it's okay generally to use magnets around the computerized sewing machines. In fact, a lot of our embroidery machines have magnetic hoops, and it's totally fine to use those magnets around the computerized machines. All those computer components now are so tiny and so well packed within the machine that you really won't do any damage. So, not a problem. But as far as the seam guide go, well, again, maybe we could use a magnetic seam guide, but I figure, why bother? Janome has this fabulous metal cloth guide or seam guide available in a blister pack, or it does come already with a lot of machines in this configuration here, particularly our QDC machines, we have this quilting attachment kit, and there is this fabulous metal cloth guide. Again, it's been around forever. Something so basic, and yet it's so effective. It's actually my very favorite cloth guide. I use it all the time. I have an HD9 machine of my own here at home, and that cloth guide actually comes with the HD9, and it's fabulous. And again, it works beautifully on the Continental M7 here. Now, you'll see that when you get this metal cloth guide, it has these two screws here, one of which is larger than the other. So the question is, well, which one do I use? How do I know what to use? Well, in most of our needle plates here, and that's the wonderful thing about this cloth guide, it'll work with almost every machine out there. Do you have a hole, a threaded screw hole in your needle plate? Or, you know, some of the machines actually have the threaded screw hole out in the bed of the machine, which I will show you in just a minute. So that's why there's two different screws here. So for our Continental M7 here, for those machines that have the threaded screw hole in the needle plate. Oh, Eddie Crest Furniture is here. Oh my gosh, hello. I haven't seen you guys forever. I hope you're doing great. I'm excited. Eddie Crest Furniture is going to be with us at Quilt Canada. Janome is going to be out there at Quilt Canada in June in Vancouver, so it'll be great to see everyone in person. So yes, if you have this threaded screw hole here in your needle plate, you're going to use this smaller screw in your needle plate. And the wonderful thing about this adjustable cloth guide or seam guide is, again, it's fully adjustable. So, if you are a garment sewer, let's say, the average seam allowance is 5/8 of an inch. So I'm moving my cloth guide, my seam guide. Here there's a little tick mark. Now I have the HP needle plate on, but the little tick mark for the 5/8 of an inch is on our straight stitch needle plate and our regular zigzag needle plate. Again, that's the wonderful thing about these patented needle plates. We've got all these wonderful markings that will make things more convenient for you. So I can see up here I've got the 5/8 of an inch and the little tick mark here. So I'm going to line up my cloth guide with that. It doesn't matter what presser foot. Now here, when we're using the HP needle plate, well, yes, we're going to use the HP foot. They're designed to work together. But if I had the regular zigzag needle plate on, I could use any presser foot. It really doesn't matter what it is. So if this is my seam, again, I line it up very beautifully. Ooh, and I'll try to get in here. Do so. It's always awkward sewing on an angle when you've got a camera in the way. So yes, now and I line up my seam. And again, away I go. So this way, again, it's nice and accurate. And we can always double check with our little, where am I? Here we go. You know, one of these little seam guides. I've had one of these forever. And again, we just go over and measure. Boom. That's perfect. 5/8 of an inch. So it really doesn't matter where you want to move this cloth guide. So, if I am a piecer, a quilter, and I'm going to drop my presser foot and align now this HP foot is the perfect 1/4 of an inch. So everybody loves it. And you'll see my cloth guide lines up. Maybe you'll see my cloth guide lines up. There's the little tick mark here on my needle plate. So it lines up right next to the foot. And I'm going to put that in position there, raise my foot. I always like to, just like our fabulous Celine likes to, hang up the thread on the thread holder at the side of the machine to then make sure the thread doesn't get all knotted at the beginning. So if I'm a piecer, a quilter, and then drop my foot, there we go. And then away I go. Oops, so now when we make sure that we screw this in nice and tight, as I do there. Again, I always put on hand cream before my presentation, so my hands are a little slippery. But again, nice and tight, and then this just flies down. So isn't that accurate? Isn't that so easy to do? So let me get rid of that. So this, the options, and again, your beautiful 1/4 of an inch seam allowance there, nice and accurate. So it works out so well. So that is for the Continental M7. And again, pretty much any of our machines that have the little threaded screw hole in the needle plate, or maybe some machines like the fabulous 234 have the threaded screw hole in the machine itself, in the bed of the machine. They don't have the threaded screw hole here in the needle plate. They have it in the bed of the machine. So that's why for our cloth guide here, we have the metal cloth guide. We have the two size screws. The smaller screw will go directly into the needle plate. The larger screw is for those that have the threaded hole here in the bed of the machine. We need to go through the plastic housing and then down into the metal base of the machine. That's why the screw is longer. So again, this metal cloth guide is so versatile. So we can screw it in again wherever. Now, even here on our 234 is one of our mechanical machines. Again, a good entry-level beginner sewing machine. But even there, we have all these markings, convenient markings on our needle plate. So again, if we're a garment sewer, we line it up to 5/8 of an inch. If we're a quilter, we line it up to 1/4 of an inch. Again, it doesn't matter what presser foot we use with it, because we've got from the center needle position, or wherever our needle is actually, over to the cloth guide. That's what we're concerned with. Can the machine get damaged if the longer screw is used in the needle plate? No, not at all. You can use the longer screw in the needle plate. There's really no reason for it. If it goes down deep enough so then it's secure. So it's fine so long if it's secure, that it really won't matter. In these machines that have the threaded screw hole in the machine bed, you'll need for sure to use that longer screw, because the shorter screw won't get through the housing and down into the metal framework of the machine. This is another good thing about Janome machines, because again, all metal, even in these basic mechanical machines, all Janome machines, regardless of the model, all have that metal skeleton. And this is one way to prove it, because that screw hole, and you'll even see it in the machine, that you'll see the threads of the screw hole, to accept the screw, that you'll see you're going into metal. There's not all plastic in here. There's a plastic coating, but then there's metal in here. So again, we line that up and then we could sew it on, beautifully. So that is the metal cloth guide, again, available conveniently in the blister pack, or again, it comes conveniently in this quilting attachment kit for, especially again, like your 7mm and some 5mm machines, again, can accept all of these extra feet. So that's very exciting, a good value. Again, comes with a lot of our, again, like QDC machines, but this is available separately too. So double check with your Janome dealer. So other options, if you didn't want to use a whole separate, cloth guide, but we have feet like this sliding guide foot, for example. Now this one is for 7mm max, and then we also have one for 9mm. So again, that we need to get the correct foot, but this sliding guide foot, we release that little lever, and then again, you'll see we've got a little ruled measurements here, and we move that over with this nice guide wherever we want. So it is a snap-on foot. And again, just snap it on quickly. Boom, there we go. And then again, we can adjust this guide wherever we want. So again, if I take my, I'll just take my little strip over here. If I just take my little strip and, yes, again, if we're garment sewer, we're, quilter, we're doing hemming, whatever we want to do, or maybe we're going to be doing a decorative stitch, and we want to make sure that it's consistent, a straight line. So even you can measure with your little guide, even if you don't use the markings on your needle plate, because again, if I have my guide way over here, for example, there are no guides on the needle plate. So then you would use your little ruled guide here to get exactly where you want, and then again, you slide this over, and then clamp it down, and then again, drop your foot, and away you go. So accurate. So again, we've got many different options depending on your Janome machine available. So double check with your Janome dealer for like this sliding guide foot, and again, make sure that you get the correct one for your machine. And as always, the wonderful thing of Janome, they've got the instructions here on the back of the blister pack. So make sure that you never throw the cardboard away. You can throw away the plastic, but just don't throw away the cardboard. Now, another option, slide that out of place. This is why, again, I need a bigger table here at home. The fabulous Horizon line of machines here. This is my fabulous MemoryCraft 15,000 quilt maker, but the Horizon line of machines have a couple of different options for cloth guide. So if you have a 8200 or an 8900 or the 9400 or 9450, again, all the Horizon machines have that same skeleton, that same 11-inch throat space here, and we've got the same skeleton. So for the 8900, 8200, 9400, 9450, we have this cloth guide, the beautiful long cloth guide here that clips around the bed of the machine here. It just snaps on like that, and then it slides wherever you need it to. So super convenient. And now, even with the extension table for those machines, you'll see there's a little notch right here at the back. And that notch is to, when I have this in place, there's a little groove across the front here. So I don't have room on my table to leave this up permanently, but I can just hold it in place here. That little notch at the back, again, this is like the home position for your cloth guide. So you're just going to click that into place there. The little groove here at the front is to allow you to slide this wherever you wish. Again, your 5/8 of an inch, 3/8, half of an inch, whatever you decide, or way out here, if you're doing a nice deep hem for curtains, let's say, then this is perfect. You slide it out. You've got so much room here. And then when you want to remove it, again, park it in the home position where that little notch is in your table, and then it just comes off, very easily. So that is an option. Again, depending on which machine you have. Now, sometimes it comes with the machine, or again, this is available separately as well. So you can double check with your Janome dealer. Again, this is for specifically the Horizon machines, the 8200, 89, 9400, 9450, that this works beautifully with those. It works with our fabulous 15,000 here, but the great thing with the 15,000 is it is also embroidery. So I have my embroidery carriage here on the back of the machine, and the MemoryCraft 15,000, all versions, version 1, 2, and 3 quilt maker, came with this fabulous cloth guide. Is that extended table, available, yes, if you wanted this fabulous extension table. Again, it comes with those machines, but if you happen to have broken it or you need a replacement, then yes, you can get this table available separately for your Horizon machines. So yes, 15,000 quilt maker came with this beautiful cloth guide. You'll see, it looks very similar, but it attaches differently because here on the MemoryCraft 15,000, we've got, again, the embroidery carriage on the back. So this is how it's the same clip system the embroidery hoops have. So the fun thing is, whenever I've demoed this at dealer stores and for any online event, the first thing everybody wants to do is open their embroidery carriage at the back here, because this again clips into the embroidery carriage just like the hoops do. So they automatically want to open the embroidery arm. Well, no, the fun thing is about the MemoryCraft 15,000 quilt maker is, again, it's a combo machine. So we can use the embroidery carriage at the back of the machine even when we're not embroidering. So this cloth guide just clips in, boom, like that. And then we go into our screen here, and you'll see this funny thing up at the top. Doesn't that look like a J to you? That it goes across J, like Janome. Isn't that cool? But this icon up here, a lot of times people ask me, what is that? Well, that is our cloth guide. So if I click on that, now the carriage is going to open in the sense of you need to, here you'll see once I click OK, this carriage is going to slide this way. So we want to make sure when I hit OK, see, nothing is going to be around it. You got to be very, very careful that nothing is going to be there to move it. So this is what our screen looks like. So let me just go back And it's going to go back to that parked position, and then I want to show you all there. So when you activate this cloth guide, it's going to say that, okay, it's going to move. Okay. Now the fun thing is, there it is moving. So you get to decide where you want the cloth guide. So the default here is to 5/8 of an inch. Again, that's our default stitch or default seam allowance for commercial patterns. But then let's say, oh, I'm a quilter. Again, I want 1/4 of an inch. So then we can move the cloth guide there incrementally, 1/8 of an inch or even a 1/32 of an inch. So again, if I want 1/2 of an inch, there we go. I want 3/8. There's 1/4 of an inch. So there, lining up beautifully. Let me just take this strip here. So again, if I were a quilter, it doesn't matter what foot I have on because my cloth guide, my fabric is lined up here. So currently my needle's in center needle position. So from center needle to this cloth guide is that 1/4 of an inch. So even though I've got the regular wider zigzag foot on, I'm not using the foot as my guide. I'm using this cloth guide as a guide. So let's, oh, I got to hit OK. After you make every adjustment on these fancy computer screens, you have to click OK. And again, away we go. So again, I'm just sewing nice and slow here. Normally I sew very fast. And again, this is another reason why I love these cloth guides. You can really improve your accuracy at high speed using that cloth guide by keeping your fabric up against that cloth guide. So it really makes, a big difference, again, in your accuracy and being able to go super fast. So that is wonderful. Now, again, everybody asks about, oh, well, what about that 1/4 of an inch and that scant 1/4? Well, this is another reason I love these cloth guides. We're back into our cloth guide here. Now I want to scant 1/4 of an inch. Boom. We have a scant 1/4 of an inch. That's all I have to do is just hit this little 1/32. Now I've got a slightly smaller, I would go this way. Now I just have a slightly smaller. I would go this way, closer to the guide itself. There, that could be your scant 1/4. If you want to snug it up even more, again, just hit your 1/32. And that brings your, oh no, sorry, I'm getting confused. You do want to go this way. You want to go this way. You're moving your guide. Whoops. You're moving your guide closer to your needle. So you do, I was correct the first time. You do want to use that 1/32 to go smaller than your 1/4 of an inch to make your scant 1/4. So again, you can just keep hitting the 1/32. Now I'm at 3/16. That's really scant. So again, you just keep moving and moving. So you've got a lot of flexibility. Now, when you're ready, you're all finished with this. You can park it with this icon here to return to the home position. That's going to bring your cloth guide to the home position. And then as well, now I've got mine, as you saw, I've got mine set to inches, and you can change your measurement if you prefer, if you go into your settings, and then you can, your general machine settings here is the first window you're going to go, and then here where it says inches or millimeters. So I like mine set to inches, but if you're metric, you can set it to millimeters here as well. So that's going to change how your measurements are. So again, I'll just go back in and park it. And there, so many different cloth guide options. Now this also, the same cloth guide setup here is also for the Skyline S9. Again, we've got that same embroidery carriage. It's just slightly smaller, but it's the same type of cloth guide here. Again, that looks like the J. The same type of cloth guide. And then the 9850, the cloth guide is an optional accessory. But again, you could use the cloth guide the same for the 9850 because, again, it's an embroidery combo machine. It's got this smaller embroidery carriage on the back, so then you could get a smaller cloth guide that will fit your 9850. So you've got lots of different options, or again, even on your sophisticated high-tech memory craft 15,000 quilt maker, we do have the hole in the needle plate. So if we wanted to use this metal cloth guide, we could. Now I'm using the larger screw hole, and I'll see, can we screw it all the way in so it's firm? Yes, we can. So yes, if you'd rather use that bigger screw, the longer screw in your other needle plate, yeah, you totally can. That'll work just beautifully. So it really doesn't matter. You've got so many options. Specifically, again, it's for those machines with the threaded hole in the housing of the machine, and we typically use the smaller one here in the needle plates. But again, you've all got options. So that is a whirlwind. I'm really going to try to keep under the 30 minutes, and I wonder if that's why my previous presentation last week did not save. I went over the 30-minute mark. So I'm going to try to keep it under 30 minutes and really hope that this ends up on IGTV so everybody can see. So thank you everyone for joining me today. I so appreciate the interaction and asking questions at the time. I try to get to them whenever I can. But if not, again, send us a question on our Janome Canada or Janome HQ social media, and I will answer it down the road, and maybe another presentation as well. So I appreciate the being given the ideas of what I'm going to talk about next. You know, I love to be able to have that, again, interaction with everyone to share the Janome love. So thank you everyone for joining me today. Have a fabulous day. I will see you all next week. Bye.